All right, today's about finding new chords and old chords. So we're going to focus on inverting a power chord. Now, to break that down, I'm going to focus on how we take an existing power chord and then flip the bottom notes so they make a new chord. And this is about finding new chords inside of existing chords you already know. And we all know our bass chords that we've learned, and you probably have some you know from when you started practicing, or some you've learned recently. I love taking a chord I already know and flipping it around and playing with the notes that are in there. You'll find there's a lot of notes that are already there just waiting to be played that you didn't know were ready to be played. I always follow the dots in these lessons because they're easy to follow and they generally fall on the same key, keeps things kind of safe. And we focus on these lower strings, strings numbering 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, strings 6, 5, 4, and 3. Tend to be my favorite ones to work on in these lessons. 1 and 2, strings 1 and 2 are a little bit tricky because they involve a little more strategy, but we won't get into that today. So with the inverting the bottom 2 notes, the way this works is we're going to take an existing chord that you know, like a triad power chord, which is simply taking your finger, putting it on the bass note, the 6th string, and then taking 2 more fingers and adding them on the next dot. So I'm starting here on this dot, which is the 2nd dot, going to this the 3rd dot, which is the 7th fret, and take my finger and press it. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. My finger and press it down. Take my ring finger, press it down. Take my pinky and press it down. Now I have this power chord triad. There's a lot of opportunity to change this chord up. And traditionally, you're kind of taught to play power chords as individual chords. They do nothing else. So an example being like this. You'll notice my hand's not changing position. It's not changing the shape. I can even go down, and this is, if you know this you can skip past this. If I go the next strings over, and I play the same finger shape, it's very predictable, it sounds easy, it's fun, but it's also not doing a lot with the chords. It's just playing the same finger shape over and over. And I emphasize that this isn't a bad thing. This is actually a good thing because it gets you comfortable. Now, once you're comfortable, that's where the fun starts to happen with the inversion of the bottom 2 notes. So inverting the power chord is basically taking the 2 bottom notes and flipping the position. So I'm going to take my pointer finger, put it here on the 2nd dot, take my ring finger, put it here on the next dot over, my pinky on the next dot over. So what's going to happen here is we're going to take our pointer finger and our ring finger and we're going to swap the position. So I'm going to bring my pointer finger down 1 and my ring finger up 1. So now I've swapped position. So I went from here to here. So back and forth, here to here, here to here. Okay? So I'm going to start here in this regular chord. Okay? Now I'm going to swap the position. Now you have a new chord. So let's try that again. Okay, and what this is doing is it's actually playing into a technique that I'm going to get into in a second called a T bass line. And it's a really popular bass line in rock music and punk music. Anything that's more modern and alternative is going to have this T-shaped bass line, which is basically, think of drawing a T like this. So you go up, over, and across, and down like this. And this is very popular in most rock songs. So I'm taking this, and I'll show it again. Okay, I've just gotten 2 chords out of 1 chord position. So I have this first chord, pretty cool. Second chord, okay. So I'll take this same progression and play it without an inversion, and then play it with an inversion on the 2nd chord. So this chord progression is going to have 1, 2, 3 chords, okay? So I'm going to play this first one, second one, third one. On the 2nd chord, I'm going to change the bottom notes to make an inverted chord and then play the 3rd chord. You'll hear how it sounds different. So here we go. No inversion. Again. Okay, now listen. Good work. Okay, really interesting sound without doing a lot of difference on the actual phrase. So I'm playing the same phrase here, which is this, but I'm inverting the 2nd chord. It sounds really different. absolutely love doing this. This is my most favorite things to do with guitar because it starts playing with the actual possibility and range of chords. I mean, you really can do anything with this. So if I start on this first one, on this phrase, this first chord up here, and I change it here, you can change the order of the chords. And here's a really cool thing. When I talked about that T bass line, what that does is it does this. It goes high, medium, up, low. So if I play with a chord, so now it's making the phrase more complex. But if I take the inverted bottom on the notes, it actually makes that happen in a more interesting way because it's going up without losing the drone note of your pinky. So watch this. Versus this. See, it sounds a little more full, a little more rich, like it has something interesting it has to offer without just being the standard power chords. So if I play this faster like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, again. All right, so I'm going to take this T bass line and this inversion and apply it to a different area on the neck. So let's go up to a new dot. Let's say this dot right here, which is the third dot. Let's start on the bottom. Let's play our pointer finger and our pinky. And then let's invert this chord, just 2 notes. Here we go. Let's invert. So now we know how this inversion works. What I want to try doing next is show you how we can take this and use it to play a T bass line, a T bar chord bass line. So if I start here on this dot here on the third dot, and I play this, just 2 notes, and then I invert it, all of a sudden I have the next note covered, which is, right? So I'm here, invert. Now I'm going to take my fingers and play the regular power chord at the bottom. Okay, let's try that again. So here, invert, then go to the bottom. Regular chord there. So I'm starting on regular chord, inversion, playing that. So watch this. I got a little bit crazy at the end there because what I'm doing there is I'm pushing the chord further, and that's for a different lesson. But really the focus here is if you can invert the bottom 2 notes, you can really get away with a lot by doing very little. And I keep saying that over and over because it really works. So if I take a chord right here, for example, so I'm just taking and adding more notes to it, but the inversion, all the same. So here are a lot of songs that'll go like this. So that T bass line is so useful if you're trying to write a simple melody in a major key or a minor key without having to think too hard about where it's going. And then if you do want to change it up a little from there, you can use things like half steps to try pushing the notes further. But the really safest place to start is just play with the inversion. Take any chord you have and try inverting it. You might find you like the inverted chord more. didn't sound good there, but you get the idea. So play with the chords, and if you start on a regular power chord, then go to an inverted chord. You can even go half step down, so like this. So I love this inverted chord technique because it's fun to try with new chords and find existing chords that you already know with just changing the bottom two notes up a little bit. And give it a go and see how it is with the whole neck. Play with every area and find the chords you like, but also don't be afraid to try it on any chord. Power chords are easy to begin with, but try it on different chords. See if you can swap the bottom two notes around, see what happens. You'll find that a lot of musical theory is explaining intuitive movements you're doing with your hands, and music theory is useful only if you can do it first with your hands. So try it out, see what you think, and then let me know. Thanks for playing with me today, and I'll see you next time.